Well, good morning, everyone. We're here to break ground on a stunning new section of park here on Governor's Island and to announce an incredibly generous gift that is going to help us continue the remarkable transformation of this island. At the beginning of our administration, Governor's Island was 172 acres of underutilized space with dozens of derelict, abandoned buildings. And today, thanks to major investment from the city, it is a spectacular, one-of-a-kind destination for relaxation and recreation, a real place to experience the beauty and history of New York Harbor. It is home to new parks and public spaces, year-round organizations, including a public school and an artist studio program, and some of the most exciting cultural programming anywhere, from concerts to food festivals to public art exhibits. The island is more attractive than ever, and that's reflected in its surging number of visitors. In 2012, Governor's Island welcomed nearly 350,000 people from around the city and around the world, and that's about 8,000 a day compared to 8,000 visitors to the island in the entire 2005 season. So if you want to do the math, just multiply 8,000 times the number of days and you'll get up to a very big number. The new improved Governor's Island is a huge hit, but its greatest days, I'm happy to say, are still to come. And today we're beginning construction of an exciting and inspiring new project called The Hills. Nearly 12 striking, beautiful acres of new park at the southern end of the island. The Hills are the centerpiece of the Governor's Island Parks and Public Space Plan that we unveiled in 2010, and we are thrilled to announce that Wendy and Eric Schmidt have made a gift that is allowing us to move forward and bring this new landmark to our city. Wendy and Eric have made an extraordinary gift of $15 million towards the construction of the Hills, and their generosity is allowing us to start work today, and we are very grateful to both of them. This is a gift from Wendy and Eric to the people of New York City, and to the millions of visitors from around the world who will enjoy the Hills in the years to come. Bringing new life to Governor's Island has been an important priority, as you know, for our administration. The Hills will be a unique addition to the island that will give New Yorkers a brand new perspective on our historic harbor and a wonderful new public place to enjoy. The tallest of the four hills, called Outlook Hill, will rise 80 feet. At the top, visitors will find stunning 360-degree views of the New York Harbor, the Statue of Liberty, the Manhattan skyline, and the beautiful new parks and public spaces of Governor's Island. The four hills incorporate planted natural features like birch forests and grassy slopes, as well as public art, play areas, and walking paths. The hills will be partially constructed from repurposed fill, including materials recycled from demolished buildings that used to be here on Governor's Island, like the 11-story abandoned building we imploded last month that used to stand right behind you on this spot. Once planted, the hills will be a part of the island's natural landscape, much like the man-made hills Olmsted and Vox designed in Central Park a century and a half ago. The hills will be a destination unlike any other in the city, and they'll be built resiliently, taking into account our changing climate. In fact, because of specifications we laid out in Plan YC, all the city's new parks are being built to withstand rising sea levels and extreme weather. And that includes the 30-acre park spaces that are now under construction on this island. While water levels rose a foot above the 100-year flood lines on Governor's Island during Hurricane Sandy, the new parking spaces under construction came through the storm, I'm happy to say, without any major damage. And park construction restarted just days after the storm hit. And now, this gift from Wendy and Eric officially kicks off the next phase in the park development, and it puts us on schedule to have the Hills open to the public in the spring of 2015. Today is a great day for Governor's Island and our city, and I want to begin again by applauding Wendy and Eric for making it possible. Eric and Wendy are generous philanthropists, and a major force of their work is environmental conservation and sustainability and restoring and protecting historic places. So we couldn't ask for better partners as we work to bring the Hills, an innovative example of urban ecology and resiliency here on Governor's Island, to life. With their lead gift, we've raised about $36 million of the $70 million needed to fully construct the Hills. It is the latest great public-private partnership to bring new incitement and opportunities to our city, and it is just one of the many examples of our administration setting sights on formerly unused and abandoned pieces of our city and working to bring them roaring back to life to benefit New Yorkers. We've done that around all the boroughs, from McCarran Park Pool to the Kingsbridge Armory to Brooklyn Bridge Park, High Bridge Park, and High Line, and more. Governor's Island is a great example of these efforts, and our progress here has been made possible, I'm happy to say, by the state's wise decision a few years ago to transfer control of the island to the city. If you remember, when we originally got it from the federal government, it was split between us and the state, and after long consultations, the state and the city decided it'd be better off with one organization, one government trying to raise money, and we've done that, and the state should be very proud, and I wanted to say thank you to them. We've come a long way, and today we take another big step towards the transformation of Governor's Island. That transformation doesn't only include a new park and public places. Our capital investment in the island is bringing all of its infrastructure into the 21st century. In December, we also released an RFP for new tenants to occupy and creatively reuse the island's more than 40 landmark buildings. They total more than 1 million square feet of usable floor space, a unique opportunity for educational, cultural, or commercial use. And we're currently reviewing ideas for the buildings, and they'll bring us closer to the ultimate vision of Governor's Island as a one-of-a-kind, year-round destination in our harbor. Also, yesterday, the City Council did approve our plan to allow businesses and nonprofits to invest in some of the island's historic buildings, which creates exciting new possibilities here. The island is still so full of potential, and now we have the opportunity to bring new shops and galleries and schools here, which will help attract even more visitors to the island. And by allowing private groups to invest in these historic buildings, we'll be able to preserve them for decades to come. And I wanted to specifically thank Speaker Quinn, Councilmember Margaret Chin, and the City Council for working with us to pass this proposal. It is just the latest way that we're bringing more jobs and cultural opportunities to our waterfront. Every day brings us closer to the full vision for Governor's Island, and we are lucky to have partners like Eric and Wendy who are committed to help bringing it to life. I also want to thank the parks designer, Adrienne Oise, the leading designer for West 8, the landscape architecture firm which has built award-winning parks in Madrid, Miami, and around the world. And so now you're going to get a chance to hear straight from the people that are making this possible. First, Wendy Schmidt. Wendy?
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everybody. A nice cool day here in New York, and I see our friends with their hard hats have put things down just so we can do our press conference here. I was walking around here just a few months ago, and there's been tremendous progress since then. Eric and I are really excited about this project. We find ourselves spending more and more time here in the city. Our work brings us here. Obviously, all the attractions in the city draw us here. My parents told me that New York was the center of the world, and it really still seems to be that. Now, for the past year, Eric and I have been looking for some meaningful way, some compelling way that we can support Mayor Bloomberg's initiatives undertaken by his team to advance the greening of New York and to open the waterfront to New Yorkers. As the mayor mentioned, our family foundation is based in California, but we work around the world to help shift the way people use energy and natural resources in a transition we believe is from an old century with old technologies and old perceptions to a new century, and a new way of thinking about the human footprint and the human experience in cities and in industry and in the natural world. The trees that shade us and delight us and even feed us, to the oceans and the fields and the many complex living systems that we depend upon for our own life, including the climate. So we exist in a network of living systems, and nothing helps us experience this more clearly and more immediately than the consciously planned pairing of urban landscapes where humans increasingly are living and the natural world, connected instead of disconnected. When I grew up in New Jersey and would travel into New York with my parents, we went to what we called the Dirty City. And apart from glimpses of trees in Central Park, I don't remember any landscapes with trees of any interest, nothing like the displays of greenery and urban landscaping and terraces and flowers that brighten New York today. We've come so far from the 1970s and the birth of the environmental movement and the passage of the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act Today, here on Governor's Island, we have a spectacular opportunity to continue to shift the public perception of city living here in the greatest city in the world. We should be leaders, and thanks to Mayor Bloomberg and his administration, we are. I will tell you, Eric and I were captivated by the Hills project the moment we understood what was possible here. Thanks to Bob Steele and to Nancy Cutler in the mayor's office and to Leslie Koch for sharing your time with us. So this imaginative and inspiring connection between the sea and the sky and the trees, where visitors will glimpse the Statue of Liberty and the New York skyline, not through a depressing landscape of crumbling industrial infrastructure, but rather through a lens that I would argue contains the essential genetically historic ingredients of human settlements: water, soil, trees, open skies, and on top of that, paths where you can climb up to the sky or drop off to fields that invite recreation and leisure. I do believe that this place will become one of the best loved places in New York City. And not only will the Hills satisfy the human sense that attaches us to the outdoors, but as the mayor told you, this project is also being carefully designed with the express intention of modeling sustainability. And this, to us, is the new value for the new century. The human footprint, but contained, working in harmony with the natural world. And finally, the Hills look forward as they address concerns about climate change, rising sea levels. The Hills of Governor's Island will become a piece of a bigger plan to increase the resilience of Manhattan and the boroughs. We think of this park as a beautiful fortification, a place that has protected New York Harbor one way or another for centuries. So our gift to the Hills of Governor's Island is our first major gift to the city of New York, and it represents an infusion of our energy and enthusiasm for the goals of this project. A new vision for a new century that recognizes both the challenges we face as a city, as a nation, and as a planet, and also the opportunities we have in New York City to lead the world. Thank you very, very much.
Wendy, thank you so much, and Eric, thank you. Renee Menschel is the chair of the Trust for Governor's Island and deserves a tremendous amount of credit for the island's success thus far. She is one of the city's great civic leaders, and we're fortunate to have her leadership and vision as we work to write this new chapter in the island's history. Renee, would you say a few words?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, Eric and Wendy Schmidt, and the others who have brought us to this day. First, I'd like to say, Mr. Mayor, you have transformed New York City's waterfront, and we are grateful that Governor's Island has been part of your success and that you have invested so much in the infrastructure to transform this island into better use moving forward. Your contributions to New York's vitality are broad, lasting, and numerous, and of course, this is one. Now, at this point, I would like to also thank our other donors, early champions to the Hills projects. They deserve our thanks. First is Bloomberg Philanthropies. And thank you, Patty, as well. The Carson Family Charitable Trust, the Karina Endowment Fund, the Lauder Family Foundation, Joan Tish and Family, and Tiffany and Company Foundation. This is really a transformative time for the island. Much has already been done to burnish our jewel in the middle of New York Harbor. Governor's Island, as Wendy alluded to, is rich in history, which we are protecting while we add new uses and gorgeous new park spaces. Collectively with the Hills, this will be a place of inspiration and enjoyment of the harbor's beauty, and we will become a special place of mixed use, and we believe the Central Park of the 21st century. Wendy, may I also add that we're so glad to not only have your and Eric's financial support, but also your personal understanding and participation and leadership in the issues of preservation and sustainability. And so it's a particularly important to us that you believe in this project and you see the value of this project. So we thank you. I hope that the Schmidt's leadership gift will inspire other New York philanthropists to join in this extraordinary opportunity to sculpt a piece of New York City. We continue to talk with interested individuals and foundations about how they, too, can take a piece of this endeavor and help build the hills. My thanks go to Leslie Koch, whose leadership has already made Governor's Island come alive, desirable, and part of the city's DNA. This year, we have had 186,000 visitors in just 10 weekends. And we're only through halfway the summer. So it's wonderful to see again. The people are coming out here, they want to be here, and they're enjoying, even with the limits we've have to place on access. Leslie is also guiding a most successful capital program. It's on time, on budget, to again realize the island's full potential. Finally, I'd just like to recognize and thank Deputy Mayor Patty Harris, who serves on the trust board. You have a very full dance card, and I'm very grateful that you're on it. And let me thank Deputy Mayor Bob Steele as well, who has also been very helpful to us. So again, thank you all, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Renee, thank you. I will add my thanks to Bob and Patty. They are the driving force behind this island's renaissance from City Hall, and Governor's Island President Leslie Koch for her great work guiding the island's transformation. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to summarize today's announcement for our Spanish-speaking audience, unless you would like to come up and do that. In French? I got a D in French. Parents screamed at me, I remember that, a long time ago. La ciudad ha recibido una donación muy generosa de 15 millones de dólares de Wendy y Eric Schmidt para ayudarnos a construir una nueva sesión de Governor's Island. Esta nueva sesión tendrá 4 colinas, midiendo casi 25 metros y tendrá áreas verdes, arte público y vistas increíbles del puerto de Nueva York. And with that,